Counterfeit blessings people endure. So the enemy will counterfeit the good things the Lord wants to bring you. So he will kind of bring you something sort of similar, but it's not. Now, the enemy, of course, is not to be trusted. He knows he's not to be trusted. He knows you don't trust him, especially God's people who he's really trying to slip up. He knows you're discerning, but he doesn't stop there. So a scheme of the enemy is that because we trust the Lord, so he can give us one step at a time. We trust, we know him, we have his word, his ways are good, his plans for us are good, so we get on the water. Now the enemy's like, well, they're not going to get on the water for me. How do I counterfeit them? How do I get them through this fake door? So the enemy gives you the ends up front. He knows that you're not going to trust him. Now, the Lord won't show us the end of his plan all the time, right? He's not showing us exactly where we're going. We trust him, and we know that we're going somewhere good. But the enemy, of course, counterfeits this by showing you up front. Just walk this broad path, and there's the money. This is not a good relationship, but you want it. It's right there. He will show you the ends, which are often these fleshly desires that the Lord has not purposed for you. And this is temptation. You can have this, right? He took Jesus up to the mountain and said, all of this, Satan said, I can give you all of this. All of this dense wood. I can give you all of this. I can give you all the worldly kingdoms. Bow down to me, he said to Jesus. Now, of course, he is a liar and the father of lies. So we know that, we also know that this is his world. He does have authority in this world to give. We know that too. So, does he bless the wicked on this earth? Yes. If you take the broad path, if you are leading God's people astray and calling it ministry, if you're chasing and hustling after money because you gotta take care of yourself, if you're walking with hate in your heart but going to church every Sunday, if you're letting that Bible get dusty but you call yourself a believer, Christian, whatever, you're on the broad path. Satan doesn't come in a red suit and horns. He comes with the easy way. He comes with the godless way, the counterfeit ways, the ways of the flesh. And so we say, well, how do we discern the ways of the flesh from the ways of the Spirit? How do I know I'm not on the broad path? Great question. The mind of Christ, the wisdom that the Lord gives us as we fear him, teaches us, all things you do, do them for the glory of God. So it is wise to evaluate everything you say, everything you do, how you treat people, where you work, how you think, your thought patterns, your habits, every little thing. Yes, it is wise to evaluate every little thing by the glory of God. Does this give God glory? Somebody greatly offends you. You're totally in the right. You want to go off. You want to criticize them or come at them, bro. Does that give God glory? That's the narrow path. Because sometimes we can be on the narrow path, right? And then the enemy sets up a trap. I'm going to send one of my people to offend them, to get them on the broad path. Well, to get them on the broad path. So you got to slow down, especially when it comes to people, especially when it comes to these times of persecution. The enemy really wants to send his people out to really anger you so that you'll sin in your anger, which is why God is so good in giving us all these words about loving those who really don't treat us so good. He's talking about love lately, family. And it is to prepare us. I love God. because, Jesus was a simple man. Even in his parables, if you had eyes to hear, you got it. It was very straightforward. And God's the same. Obviously, Jesus is Lord, and he deals with us the same way. He deals with us the same way. Things are really plain, and they're not so confusing. Confusion is from the enemy. So when you start to get that crisscross feeling in your wires, like this seems like an awesome blessing, but I'm scared. This seems like something great, but I don't know if I want to do it. Well, way to be discerning. God's blessings, they don't go rotten. They don't lead to the broad path. They're always to give glory to God. Always. Always. And you'll be blessed on that path. For Satan's blessings, you'll be blessed on this earth. And that's it.